India has completely destroyed the Dragon's Galwan lies. Photographs of brave Indian Army soldiers of the Dogra Regiment in Galwan on New Year. Now these images smash China's Galwan propaganda. India has indicated very clearly through these pictures where we stand in Galwan. These images were first broken on India Today and show the real story. But there is a deeper message. Behind the tricolour, if you look at these pictures very carefully, behind the tricolour is also the flag of the Dogra Regiment. The brave Dogra general Zorawar Singh had defeated the Chinese Imperial Army in 1841 and expanded the horizons of India's empire.
On a snowy stretch of Ladakh's Galwan Valley, Indian troops in their snow gear, clutching their SIG 716 assault rifles and wielding that most beloved symbol, the Indian flag. Two photographs released today, 2 days after China released a propaganda video from the restive Ladakh Valley aimed at establishing its presence on the troubled frontier territory. India has calmly released its own New Year images from the area. But unlike the belligerent bombast of the Chinese video, filled with military chants, the Indian images are calm, still photographs, depicting our troops on a sunlit, snow-blown patch of the valley. You can clearly see an Indian machine gun bunker in the background too, along with another Tiranga. Unlike the carefully crafted, edited and designed propaganda clip from the Chinese, the Indian photographs are totally normal. The Tiranga, a routine fixture at army posts, and nothing remotely abnormal about troops demonstrating bonhomie and pride with such imagery. Common during festivals, regimental days, and of course, the New Year.
Our own troops, let me assure you all that there's a very resilient response there, and they are on our side, and they have also had a similar display of our presence out there. The response has surprised the Chinese. Galwan was one particular response where the Chinese got surprised.
The Indian Army photos may be routine, but they represent a break from tradition. It is the first time since the Galwan clash of June 2020 that the Indian side has responded so directly to Chinese propaganda. And it comes after several opposition politicians fired off the shoulders of the Chinese images, amplifying them for domestic politics. Are we about to witness a claim versus counter-claim war break out? And does it even matter when we compare our country, where we trust our troops, to a country that hides its dead? We will continue to ask the hard questions, but India Today stands with India's troops. And we will never fire off the shoulders of Chinese propaganda. Bureau Report, India Today.
And senior Congress leader Abhishek Manu Singhvi cautioned against Chinese propaganda. Singhvi in a tweet said, and I quote, would urge the Indian media not to take the CCP and the Global Times propaganda machinery seriously. They are nothing but an absolute joke, especially in the digital age. A psyops, a psychological warfare operation that can easily be busted by a few minutes of Google search, unquote. China is good at playing mind games. Is India now catching up? And should it be a national effort, be it the government or the opposition and the people of our country? India, should we be speaking in one voice? The challenges are many. China renaming villages, passes and peaks in Arunachal Pradesh. China building a tactical bridge some 20 to 30 kilometers away from the LAC, but the narrowest point of Pangong Tso. China unfurling the red flag in the part of Galwan Valley that they've held for decades. These are some of the questions that we are putting here on India First. China is also, incidentally, it continues to block Indian patrols and yet exchanges sweets at points like the bottleneck. What is China's message in 2022? Join me on India First. Lieutenant General Syed Ata Hasnain. He's former General Officer commanding of the Srinagar Corps, but he served extensively in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Tuhin Sinha represents the Bharatiya Janata Party. Salman Nizami represents the Congress on the broadcast. And Salman Nizami, did the Congress fall for Chinese propaganda? Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi has now put out a word of caution saying, don't take Chinese Communist Party propaganda machinery seriously. They're an absolute joke.
Well, we should not believe the Chinese propaganda, but the reality is China is still inside our territory. It's still in Galwan and Pangong. They have constructed a bridge which will connect the north and south banks of Pangong Lake, allowing the Chinese army's quick access to both sides. They killed our soldiers. But where is the 56-inch wala chokidar now? What we did in retaliation? Banned the PUBG and other applications. So they claimed, the BJP claimed after revocation of Article 370, militancy would end, but still China has become a party now in J&K. What has changed after revocation of Article 370?
Okay, so you're linking this to Article 370. Let me take this to Tuhin Sinha.
China has become a party.
Okay.
In Kashmir now, Pakistan is, every day we hear that Pakistan is doing attacks in Kashmir. On the other hand, China is there, still present in our territory.
Okay, let me get Tuhin Sinha to respond to you. Tuhin Sinha, why is the government silent? Congress says it is fear that Congress says the government is not even responding to Chinese propaganda.
The government has been responding on the ground, Gauravji, and you.
Okay, I'll take a moment and try and reestablish that link with Tuhin Sinha in just a moment, but let me take that question to General Ata Hasnain. General, this is hybrid warfare. This is grey zone warfare. Was the government smart in staying silent, or did the government actually let China win round one with that propaganda video? And you heard the Congress Party leader Salman Nizami talk about Chinese building a bridge, Chinese killing our soldiers, and we are doing nothing about it.
Thank you, Gaurav, and a Happy New Year to all our viewers.
And to you, sir.
Happy New Year to all our panelists here, and to you, Gaurav, too. Let me first take the second part of your question, Gaurav. Nizami Saab, I just want to explain to him, because I'm not someone political. I'm going to explain to him from a professional angle. This bridge being constructed 30 kilometers away from the line of actual control, if you ask a true military professional, he will tell you that this is China's defensive attitude. For the first time, they have realized that India can also carry out an offensive, can also carry out quid pro quo operations. All this while they didn't cater for a response. Now they're catering for response so that they can cut down the response time of 12 hours to about 3 to 4 hours. Doesn't this reflect typically the attitude that we from our operations have actually put the Chinese on the defensive? Completely on the defensive.
Chinese are on the defensive. I want on India First our viewers to go away with facts. Facts and not propaganda that's peddled either by China or others, perhaps on behalf of China. But let's have facts on India first. So Chinese on the defensive, building that bridge 30 kilometers away from LAC. Go on, General.
Yeah, I thought I must also explain very, very briefly a fact which Nizami Saab says that Pakistan is attacking every day in Kashmir. I just want to correct you again from a professional angle. 9 terrorists have been killed in 2 nights, in 2 days in the last week. How were these 9 terrorists killed? By proactive operations of the Indian army, not by operations of the Pakistan army coming in and doing anything there. So it is we who've got people on the run there. Now coming to your main question, the issue of PSYOPs. This is an old ploy of the Chinese army, the PLA. This is the principles they have followed since 1993. They are very, very crude. There's nothing sophisticated in this propaganda campaign at all. Even if the government of India had kept silent, I would say even that was acceptable. But what happens when 1,000 lies are told, somewhere something becomes the truth in the perception of the people. And that's why it's important to respond once in a while. I think the response has been appropriate. And the fact, I didn't notice it myself, but Gaurav, you pointed out a very correct thing, that the Dogras are there. And I would say that actually a photograph of Zorawar Singh, General Zorawar Singh, should have been put out there. It is Zorawar's troops who are right there on top there, and the Indian tricolor is there.
And that's a picture that we put out. Brave General Zorawar Singh, so proud of his achievements, and that is exactly why we put out those pictures. Salman Nizami Sahab, you heard General Hasnain in no uncertain terms. When China builds a bridge on the narrowest part of Pangong Tso, 25 to 30 kilometers away from the LAC, sir, that is China's defensive action after India's QPQ operations. BJP says, why does the Congress seek information from the Chinese, whether it's from their ambassador during Doklam or falling for Chinese propaganda here, instead of fact-checking those pictures? As Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi has so rightly pointed out, India Today fact-checked those pictures, and the Chinese did that unfurling Nautanki, that drama of unfurling the Chinese flag in area that the Chinese have held even before 1962, sir.
Well, respected General Sahab claimed that China is in defensive mode. Okay. A construction of a village in Arunachal Pradesh is in defensive mode. Construction of a bridge in Pangong is in defensive mode. You claim that after revocation of Article 370, militancy would end in Kashmir. It's still present, and you are claiming that we are still killing the militants. So what has changed? We also killed the militants. You are also doing the same. What has changed after revocation of Article 370?
May I respond, Gaurav?
They said militancy पूरा खत्म हो जाएगा, कोई नहीं बचेगा. अब क्या हो रहा है?
ठीक है, General Sahab wants to respond to you.
I need to respond.
Gaurav, I need to respond.
Nizami Sahab, I don't think anyone ever promised कि आर्टिकल 370 निकालने से मिलिटेंसी वाइप आउट हो जाएगी. देखिए, अगर आप समझते हैं, if anyone understands this whole concept of hybrid war,
India in the parliament, sir.
No. In a hybrid war, see, जो भी बोले, let me explain to you from a professional angle. आप political तरीके से इसको मत देखिए.
अरे निजामी साहब सुन तो लीजिए सर.
Don't please look at it from a political angle. Look at it from a professional. I'm a professional. मैं professional तरीके से आपसे कह रहा हूँ ये. कोई आपको promise नहीं कर सकता.
सर एक भारतीय होने के नाते, sir, as an Indian, sir, as an Indian, here the answer as an Indian, sir.
Terminate hybrid war overnight is not possible. चाहे कोई भी आप measure ले लीजिए. ये hybrid war चलती रहेगी अभी बहुत, और अभी आप terrorist मारते रहेंगे. हर साल terrorist को आप गिनते रहेंगे साल के आखिर में. ये जो है, क्योंकि प्रॉक्सी वॉर है, पाकिस्तान के सपोर्ट से हो रही है, ये प्रोपेगेंडा से हो रही है, ये उनकी सपोर्ट है, पूरे हर तरफ नेटवर्क्स उनके बिछे हुए हैं वहां पर. तो ये गलत है, ये सरासर गलत है आपका समझना इसका. आप एक प्रोफेशनल तौर से समझिए, मेरे साथ बैठिए, मैं आपको समझा दूंगा पूरा ये. आई विल एक्सप्लेन यू. मेरे पास बहुत तजुर्बा है कश्मीर का. आई विल एक्सप्लेन इट टू यू.
सर 70 साल से चल रहा है. 70 महीनों में तो खत्म नहीं होगा. इतनी गहरी जड़ें हैं आतंक की, उखाड़ने में समय तो लगेगा. लेकिन let me take this question, since you put that question, and it's a valid question. Let me take it to Tuhin Sinha of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and I want to, for the moment, stay on LAC. I will come to LOC, but Salman Nizami, Pakistan is not a threat for India. Pakistan state-sponsored terror may be, but Pakistan as a state, वो गरीब भूखा, अब दूसरा शब्द तो आप जानते ही हैं, वो हमसे नहीं लड़ सकता. खैर, Tuhin Sinha, why would the government exchange sweets at Bottleneck, a friction point where China denies India access to our petrol points? Why are we being sweet when China doesn't care about our sensitivities, sir?
You know, these are courtesies which have existed for time immemorial. I think General Saab would be in a better position to answer that. Let me answer the political part of it. See, I think to understand the pacifist attitude of the Congress party towards China, you need to go back in history and visit a letter written by Sardar Patel to Nehru on 7th November 1950, warning against his indulgent attitude towards China. And even today, it seems that Rahul Gandhi, before tweeting information, before expanding, which actually expand China's propaganda, it seems that he seems to be taking dictations from Global Times in Beijing. I'm asking you a simple thing. When China, when you know, the Chinese authorities post a tweet of the kind they posted on 1st January, would he not verify it? Would he not authenticate it with Indian authorities? This is exactly the same thing he did in 2017 when the Doklam standoff was on. He, in fact, went to the Chinese embassy to find out the status of the standoff. So, one, it shows a fundamental disrespect towards our armed forces who protect us day in and day out. Two, it shows a complete lack of faith in his own country. And this is where the problem with this present-day Congress lies. For a moment, let us forget China. Let's go 2 years back. On 24th August 2019, barely 19 days after the abrogation of Article 370, he had peddled a falsehood where he suddenly came out of a CWC meeting late in the evening and said there is bloodshed in the Kashmir Valley. This unauthenticated report was used by Pakistan to browbeat India internationally. So I think a leader of the status of, Rahul Gandhi, at least by virtue of what he is because of the Congress party, should behave in a little more responsible manner.
Salman Nizami,
authenticate facts.
Salman Nizami, my focus today is the line of actual control, but you want to respond to BJP's direct allegation about the principal opposition party in our country, according to the BJP, actually furthering anti-India, as the BJP puts it, agenda.
Well, BJP has totally failed. Let us talk about the foreign policy. You say and claim that Pakistan is a terror state. Yes, it's a terror state, but then you hold back secret talks with them in UAE. But what is the
Back-channel talks exist everywhere. You don't understand the fundamentals of international relations. Even within
one by one, gentlemen. Let Mr. Nizami complete his point.
Which moves over. No, I'm just understanding this is fundamentally wrong. In any international relations, back-channel talks have to exist because we have a huge airspace moving over Pakistan. The Prime Minister's planes fly over Pakistan. Do you mean to say that we should break all lines of communication and allow them to get away with some misadventure?
Okay, but for the moment, I don't want to talk about Pakistan. It's too inconsequential. Gentlemen, our focus is LAC and our focus is China. So, let's discuss about the dragon in the room. General Hasnain, should India be exchanging sweets, or should we be making our displeasure felt with the standoff continuing, Chinese build-up increasing, China now building up that bridge on Pangong Tso after we stumped them, as you very rightly pointed out, General, with the QPQ ops? China clearly there for the long haul. They're stopping us at bottleneck, and yet we exchange sweets at bottleneck.
Gaurav, being correct is nothing wrong. We are a democracy. We are a responsible state. And remember, one of the very, very important things on the LOC and the LAC is the aspect of what is called moral ascendancy. We are morally higher. You remember on the Pakistani side, they did not even take back their bodies, and we went and then buried their bodies, recovered the bodies and gave it to them. Yes. See the moral ascendancy we picked up. Now, therefore, offering sweets on the New Year's or in India's national days like 15th of August or 26th of January, I don't think anything wrong in that at all. You see, warfare is in the zone of grey. You can't say, ye mera dushman hai, ye muddaton ke liye dushman rahega. He will always be my enemy. You make your efforts, you make your small little issues and efforts to try and bring about peace, try and bring about a semblance of stability on the LAC. I don't think there's anything wrong in offering an adversary even sweets once in a while. This is a long tradition. In fact, in the good old days, there used to be times when at 6 o'clock in the evening, warfare used to close and people used to sit back and there used to be entertainment and things like that. Of course, that is not something that we are looking at today. But morally, as I told you, this term moral ascendancy is a very, very important aspect in a situation of what is called no war, no peace.
Okay. Mr. Nizami, can the opposition and the government, in your appreciation, can they be on the same page when it comes to an external threat that India as a nation faces? I want to understand from you, in your appreciation, has India buckled, or is India staring the adversary in the eye? From deployment to the QPQ operations, to the psychological operations, to the Dogra regiment, General Zorawar Singh's forge, putting out that tricolor at Galwan, to the infrastructure build-up that continues to happen?
Well, it was not the Congress leadership which invited President Jinping to India. And let me talk about Jammu and Kashmir. I also come from Jammu and Kashmir. We people have suffered. We have seen. You divided the entire region. Ladakh was part of Jammu and Kashmir, the erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir. Now it has been separated from J&K. And what have you achieved after that? China has become a party in Jammu and Kashmir after revocation of 317.
But that is because you have such a myopic view of Jammu and Kashmir. You don't even talk about the territory of Aksai Chin. You don't even talk about Shaksgam Valley. General, China was always a party in Jammu and Kashmir, and especially that area illegally ceded. And that's the issue that you as somebody from Kashmir should be responding to. How can Shaksgam Valley be given by Pakistan to China and our leaders keep quiet about it? General Hasnain, sir.
What about the Belt and Road Initiative, the BRI? The BRI it encompasses the entire infrastructure built up through Gilgit-Baltistan, which I may like to remind our viewers, 1994, we declared in the parliament, all parties together, the entire territory of Gilgit-Baltistan, POK, and the rest of Jammu and Kashmir all belongs to India. So that's a transgression. So the Chinese transgression has been long in place. Shaksgam Valley, which was handed over to China in 1964 for the construction of the Karakoram Highway. So China has been a party to this for a very, very long time.
Tuhin Sinha, on facts, why does the government not brief the opposition, take the opposition into confidence behind closed doors, brief them, tell them what our country is doing? They are, after all, elected representatives of the people of our country.
You know, honestly, Gaurav, this is an immature opposition. Ideally, when Rahul Gandhi has a query, he should approach the defense minister. He should not go by what is tweeted by the Global Times. You know, right from a principled opposition to one road, one belt, one road started in 2016, to the Doklam standoff, to the massive infrastructure creation across the borders in Arunachal Pradesh, leading up to Uttarakhand and the north. I think what this government has done to stand up to Chinese intimidation is unprecedented. But the point again is simple. See, let's suppose, you know, a leader of the stature of Rahul Gandhi is not supposed to fall for fake news. Let's suppose even if he fell for it, would he not have the moral courage to own up like an Milind Deora has done today, like an Abhishek Manu Singhvi has done today? I think that is the crux of the problem. You own up to the fact that you fell for Chinese propaganda, and the government would be very happy to engage with you. But the way you behave in a very irresponsible manner, leading to the government to believe that it is not worth engaging with you on serious issues.
Either ways, fellow Indians, the government must engage with the opposition, with stakeholders in our country, so that India responds in one voice to Chinese propaganda, because this is war by other means in 21st century warfare, hybrid warfare, where China is using our courts, China is using democracy. China is building up infrastructure so rapidly in the territory that they hold. But when we want to build infrastructure in Ladakh, there are court cases that hold back infrastructure even today, and that is a cause for grave concern. And this is where India needs to respond in one voice. We have a country, we will have environment. What's the point of having these environment laws if they prevent your roads from being built to border areas? That is something perhaps we'll debate on another day. I've run out of time on this part of India first, but we'll be tracking the story very closely. General Hasnain, Salman Nizami and Tuhin Sinha, as always, many thanks for joining me here on India First. A quick break. Our business show, Business Today with Abha Bakaya, coming up.